Hey everyone, I figured I would get one more video in right now before I have to start getting ready for work. I played two other games after I played against Nexus 6, and you'll see I won both of them. The first game is against King Kill, and I wanted to show it because I think I made some interesting decisions for my line, and one big misplay that I should have realized, but actually didn't bother me so much. So I wanted to highlight that, and this deck is playing, let's see, Azami, Lady of Scrolls. I know I didn't do my Azami deck when I did my big tech video recently. It's because I was still tweaking with the deck some. I added Tezzeret the Seeker to it. I added Winter Orb, Gilded Lotus. I made it more top-end strong, and Tezzeret is an amazing card, especially in this matchup. So I wanted to show you that. So I'm going to keep this hand. I have a turn 3 Tezzeret. No, turn 4 Tezzeret. Let's hope it doesn't bug out. I didn't check either of these games so far. My opponent's playing Heliod, God of the Sun, which is a vigilant to your team and 4 mana make 2/1 repeatedly. It's okay. I don't think it's by far the best mono white. I think that's probably Elish Norn or Isamaru. No, not Isamaru. Maybe 8.5 Tails? No, that actually, Thalia 1.0, followed by Thalia 2.0, and then 8.5 Tails, I would say, or Elish Norn, tied for third right there. So I'm going to run out the Cold Steel Heart because it comes in tapped first. So if I draw a counterspell next turn, I want to be able to, like negate, I want to be able to play or a counterspell. I want to 3-mana counterspell. I want to be able to play an island, tap 2 for Thought Vessel, and then have blue 1 open potentially. And if I don't use the counterspell, I can Thirst. So it gets Mask of Memory. Alright, that's fine. Pretty good card filtering, especially in non-blue. Creature deals 2 damage, draw 2, discard 1. So pick a Wreck Tower, and I'm just going to run the island out, Thought Vessel, and ship the turn back. Even though I could pitch to Thirst, I don't mind pitching any artifact that I find a Thirst, with maybe one exception. And at this point, I just want more selections before I slam Tezzeret. So it goes with Edge Champion, but it doesn't have Metalcraft yet, so I don't mind that. And I have a way to deal with that in Tezzeret, so Edge Champion doesn't bother me at all. Widow Thirst. I see Needle, which could name Mask of Memory or his commander, but I'd rather have 2 cards, so that way I have 2 guaranteed land drops, than the Needle. So I'm going to keep the Needle. There's no other 2 card, or toss the Needle. There's no 2 cards in this hand that I will want to throw away in exchange for keeping that Needle. It's not worth that much to me. Pick up Condescend, it's pretty good. Alright. And we're going to slam Void Mage Prodigy here, and merge a Scroll for Mana Drain, and flash its Mana Drain Zone, because I want to drain something. And use that drain mana to power out Tezzeret off Reliquary Tower, Cold Steel Island, so then I would still have Island, Thought Vessel untapped, potentially, which, depending on what I get off Tezzeret, could be enough to play Azami, but I know what I'm going to get first off Tezzeret. So he equips Mask of Memory, and plays Journey to Nowhere, which will exile my Void Mage Prodigy. That is a nice, juicy mana drain target. I just want the 2 mana, which is actually why I Merchant Scrolled for this. I didn't want the protection more than anything else. I wanted the pseudo ramp that it gave me. So I'll take 2 mana. Thank you. He's going to get in. Now this is the play that I thought I was pretty proud of. I choose not to block. I'm going to let him get the draw 2, discard 1, and let him keep something that potentially has protection from all colors around on his side of the field for now, because I have a plan. Alright, so it's going to deal damage to me, draw 2, I think, yep, Flagstones, which will care. I see this, and I'm immediately afraid of an Armageddon type deck, so now I know that I have to play around Armageddon. I should have been playing around it initially, because, you know, mono white, he gets a board presence, plays Armageddon, wins the game, but this in the deck just tells me that he's got to have Armageddon in this list somewhere. I'm going to slam Reliquary Tower and do exactly what I said. Glenalandra was my draw. And Tezzeret, and -3 Tezzeret. You can probably be sure of what I'm going to get, because I said I had a way to deal with the Etched Champion. There's only one artifact in this deck that deals with Etched Champion. The Shackles. slam that. Tap my mana for a sec. Think. Realize I'd rather have it untapped. Set a stop on his upkeep. And take the champion. He takes a while to respond to that for some reason. And I think he's realizing that he's in a losing position. And just like that, I still have all of this mana open to counter with Void Mage Prodigy, which is why I didn't want to throw it away. And I knew that as soon as I shackled this, it would gain protection from all colors, because I have 3-4 artifacts now. The Mask of Memory is still equipped to it because this doesn't fall off, but he does control this mask. So he's gonna tap some mana, play Heliod. There's temptation to counter it, but Heliod doesn't really bother me at all. And he F8s. So I choose not to untap Shackles. Big surprise. And I get in with Champion thinking, you know what, I'll draw 2, I'll filter 1 out, might as well. It happens, and I realize too late, he actually gets the trigger. It's whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, not equipped creature has, whenever this creature deals combat damage. So he actually gets to draw 2 and discard the Entangler. Can block any number of creatures. Interesting choice. I don't know if I like auras in EDH, and I especially don't like bad auras. So I think for Zek, I'm gonna throw down Azami, untap some artifacts, because I know where Tezzeret's going to be working towards at this point. Get Trinket Mage, Slam Trinket Mage, and I'm going to go get Ring instead of Crypt here, mostly because I don't want to put the damage on the table. I know that I'm going to get the Ring next turn. I'm not worried about it, so there's no rush to Slam Crypt out. I could Slam Crypt and play Glenlandra, but then I don't have Counter Magic. Condescend's fine, but really I have Counter Magic with Void Mage Prodigy, so I'm not hurting to have to be able to have Forbid or Condescend open this turn. I'll happily throw away the Trinket Mage to counter whatever he's going to do. Really Thawing Glaciers and pass, and this is what I was expecting when I let Heliod resolve, was that he's going to keep up mana for Heliod activations instead. I'm going to draw a card with Trinket Mage, pick up Cyclonic Rift to draw for turn, play my Ring, clear my combat step, make some mana, play Glenlandra, draw, and play Beguiler with 3 mana open, which is enough to activate Glenlandra and use Void Mage Prodigy. And draw a card if I activate Glenlandra, so that would be my first activation. And I have a draw open with Beguiler that I'm not going to use that. He's going to make a 2-1. Seems good. He's going to Thaw, he's going to copy the Thawing Glaciers, and bounce the original. So I'm going to draw a card in response. I'll pick up Relic. I'm going to use Soul Ring, Relic just to cycle it. I'm going to take the Cleric, which he takes a long time deciding also. Now notice something at 20:09. So Tezzeret went up to 3 last turn, and I'm going to go get Big Daddy, clank the orb into play, with him tapped out, wasting time on Thawing Glaciers. I know he's got another Thawing Glaciers in his hand. And with this Forbidden Hand, this Winter Orb just spells game. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's any single card in white that gets him out of this. There's no uncounterable destroy all spells, destroy all things in play. Can you cycle Decree of Chroma's Vengeance to destroy things? I don't remember. I think it's... I'm not actually sure. Chroma's Vengeance might be it, but he's so far off in the mana. And this is what I do here. I go in with the Edge Champion, even though I know it's going to get him Mask of Memory triggers, because I just don't care at this point. I'd rather have the 2 damage. I didn't do the math for the clock, but hitting for 8 feels a lot better than hitting for 6 when he's at 36, because hitting for 8 is a 4-turn clock, meaning at most he's going to have a 6-mana spell to resolve, and that's it. Yeah, including the Cleric that I'll get, but he'll have 6 mana over the rest of this game if he doesn't answer these. So hitting for 8 and then 10 and then 10 feels, and then maybe more if Beguiler untaps, because I don't need the draw here. At this point, I can just leave Azami Beguiler open, or play Arcanus. untap with Arcanus, and then Arcanus feeds Forbid, and I can crash him with everything. But at this point of the game, there's no way that he's getting out from a Forbid lock, and it's really the strength of the Azami deck is that you're actually playing Forbid as your commander, but you need ways to fuel Forbid, so you put the fuel for Forbid in the command zone, and you just need to find it. So he gets a Mask of Memory, I draw a card, I ship a turn, and you see him drop down to 1023. And he let himself time out. And let me see. Yeah. So I was a little mean. You there? Oops. When I hit with the Mask of Memory, and then I said Winter Orbs probably ends this. And I said I have Condescending, Syncopate, Rewind, and Forbid. And my plan was going to be, if he does nothing, if he does something, I rewind it, and then Psych Rift. If he does nothing, I just Psych Rift with Rewind open because Soul Ring, Heart, land, and then that gains me 4 mana underneath the orb. And I would draw a land for turn and have another land. So I would Psych Rift, get rid of the Mask of Memory if he does nothing, or something that can be Psych Rifted away. And at that point, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be over, especially with Forbid up post Psych Rift. So that was my game plan at this point. Like, Fact or Fiction is not needed, Thawing Glaciers isn't needed. Like, there's so much fuel I don't need. I'd probably cut the Condescend, because the Exile is more relevant than Scry 2, I guess. Although, I mean, maybe I'd throw that away. I probably don't need this land. Like, this is my actual hand, and these are 4 cards that I'll feed to Forbid if I need to. So, the game's well and truly over at this point, especially with the Psych Rift. So, I said I have Heart, Vessel, Island is Forbid every turn, because I'll only untap 1 land because of the orb, but I have blue here, and 1, which is Forbid. And Azami is drawing me more than enough cards to fuel it, so that means I will be able to have Forbid open every single turn, even underneath this orb, which is really why I like Cold Steel Heart in the deck, is it's a blue card that untaps underneath orb. No, blue source that untaps underneath orb, and why I added Guild Lotus, it's another blue source. Instead of Threat Dynamo, which isn't very good in Azami in my opinion. And I said, typo, timeout from Salt, which I can understand. I mean, you're truly losing this game, but just right-click, scroll down to like 3, and hit concede. And I mentioned you've been reported to WotC. Being timed out is actually a violation of the Code of Conduct that you agree to every time WotC updates the client, and you have to scroll down through all of that and re-agree to everything. Timing out is a Code of Conduct violation. It wouldn't be acceptable in an in-person Magic the Gathering tournament, walking away from your table, leaving your cards, and just waiting to get your slow play violation, followed by game loss, followed by match loss. It wouldn't be acceptable. You are penalized and you are kicked from the tournament at a certain point for doing that stuff. So it's not acceptable on MTGO either. You don't get to just get up and walk away from your table without consequences. So King Kill, you've been reported, and I've since added you to my block list. If you lose a game, I understand this was match of 3, and you don't want to play the rest of the match, just concede the match. You're not really gaining anything by timing out. All you gain is some bad buzz, and I make sure I start or continue whatever trail has been started. And if you're playing against somebody on MTGO and they do this sort of thing to you, make sure you report as well. If you can't find the report link, you can message the help on MTGO, and they will give you the link to report a player for timing out. So that's this game. And I wanted to quickly go through the next one because it's against a very cool commander that just came out, Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. I'm going to play Azami again. I was just queuing with her a little bit for fun blue control. I see a pretty capable hand. It doesn't look like it's bugged yet. So Atraxa is a Flying Vision, Death Touch lifelink. Beginning of your end step, proliferate. It's a 4/4 for 4. So very good colors. The 2 builds I've seen with Atraxa are the less mean Super Friends list, because she proliferates your planeswalkers, and the highly tuned stacks list, which if you were on the Reddit thread, I was helping contribute to as well. And the stacks list is probably by far the best stacked commander that you can play right now is Atraxa, because ideally, I think any tutor gets you a turn 5 win, um, effectively, unless someone else had an incredibly broken start off mana rocks and followed by additional things. Because you slam Atraxa off a dork, which your deck plays a ton of dorks. I mean, you're in blue, green, white. You can play Noble Hierarch because you have Bant. You play all of the good dorks. So you slam Atraxa on turn 3 off dork, and then which means you need either filter lands in the deck because you're playing Llanowar Elf 1, 2, and 3, or you don't play them and you have other sources of fixing your mana because you can't slam Atraxa off green, green. So you're playing all the multicolored dorks, birds, Hierarch, Caryatid, Bloom Tender, all of that stuff. Well, Bloom Tender is not as good for getting Atraxa out, but amazing when she is. So you slam Atraxa on 3, tutor on 4, and cast Tangle Wire on 4. Proliferate Tangle Wire up to 5 Fade encounters. Everyone else taps 5 permanents during their turn. You untap Fade Tangle Wire and then tap down 4 permanents, including Tangle Wire, so you actually tap it on 3 permanents. So if you have Bloom Tender, you have more than enough mana, so you'd have land, 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 and then you have land Bloom Tender on turn 5, and you play land, so you would have land, land, Bloom Tender, so 6 mana. If you don't have Bloom Tender, if you have something like Sylvan Caryatid, you tap land, 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 and then you have land Caryatid land for turn, and then you start hitting the face with Atraxa, because 4/4 Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink. So you have 3 mana, everyone else is tapping, so you're tapping 3 things effectively, because Tangle Wire you're always going to tap, and it's always going to have 4 counters, and everyone else is tapping 5 per turn in upkeep, and you just hold open counter magic until you have enough lands to get ahead of their presence to be able to slam a second stacks piece into play, like Null Rod or a land destruction spell or whatever. At that point, you're just going to win the game. Bitter Blossom does it. Contamination shuts off, plus Source shuts off all of their mana. Or Back to Basics to keep their lands tapped, plus Tangle Wire will basically win the game. There's so many different things that win the game after you establish that Tangle Wire lock with Atraxa. And making them tap down 5 a turn is not nothing. That's 15 permanents that you don't have to worry about, or potentially 15 mana that you don't have to worry about your opponents having over the course of a round, which is huge gains. And I think the stacks list is definitely the most solved Atraxa list so far. Super Fence is the most flavorful because of the Proliferate, and you have all of the good colors. You only lose out on a couple good planeswalkers like Dak Faden, Duretti, and the new one, Shahili Rai, if I'm saying that correct. So I'm going to jump through this game real quick before I end up having a 40-minute video again. So this is opening hand. Seems good. I'm hoping he's not on the stacks list, but I do have Sapphire Medallion to help out in case he does go that route. And Pithing Needle might hit something useful. So I see Drawn Catacomb. I immediately know he's not on the stacks list if he's playing bad lands like this on turn 1. The stacks list is highly tuned. It has every single land in the deck comes into play untapped every single time, because you play the pain lands instead of these. Like Underground River, I believe, would be that version. So pick a Bound Revive, pretty good for taking tracks off the table. Opulent Palace, once again, more confirmation it's not the stacks build. I'm going to run out the Mind Stone here, and I choose Mind Stone over Sapphire Medallion because if I play Medallion, next turn I still have to pay 2 for Mind Stone. This way, if I draw land, I can pay 2 for Mind Stone, or pay 2 for Medallion, and then pay 2 for Fabricate and get Crypt, and then my mana problems will be solved mostly for the entire game. Nature's Lore for Breeding Pool tapped and play a storage land. I do pick up the land, so I'm going to Sapphire Medallion, and I decide I'm going to sit. He's at 4 mana, he ramped out a little bit, so I kind of want to slam Pongify on his Atraxa and really set him back if I can. This also means I get to leave Negate open, which pays off actually. Oh no, I didn't pick up the land. I don't know what I was talking about. I picked up Spell Crumple. That's why I'm sitting on this negate. Sorry, I'm not even remembering the game I played 20 minutes ago. Alright, he goes with Garrick. Well, that's a great negate target, because I can't let this happen with Atraxa. He starts making beasts for free. He goes up. Well, no, I would go down here to make a beast. And then next turn goes up, taps lands, plays Atraxa, goes up again, up to 5 counters, and then starts making beasts every turn, go down to 4, then back up to 5. And then at one turn, he goes down from 5 to 2, or 5 to 1, keeping Garrick alive, overruns his team, and I just lose the game. So we're not going to let Garrick resolve. It is too much mana. I'm going to land, I think for a sec, I'm going to fabricate, and there's no pause here. I'm definitely going to get the crypt. I think for a sec about not playing it. He has a green deck, but I mean, if I have an answer, I do have Spell Crumple. If he has an answer to the crypt that isn't Crowside Grip, and I would protect it here, because I do have the answer to the commander in Punkify currently. Saps mana, Diabolic Tutor. I think about this for a sec, and I decide anything that he's going to tutor for, I can Spell Crumple, and I expect him to be getting something like Mana Crypt or Soul Ring of his own, because I have one, so he needs one. Although I'm at I'm only 1 mana ahead of him now, but he's so far ahead of me in lands. And green, Soul Ring, well, I'm going to crumple that, put that back on the bottom. I win a flip, play a land, tap some mana, slam Azami, and because I picked up that land, I still have Pongify open. I'm going to Azami draw, pick up Compulsion, and I think this is, yeah, he concedes right here. And unfortunately, it wasn't as fun a game as I was hoping, but I can imagine he needed the Soul Ring to untap and play something terrifying. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe Ugin. I could see him having Ugin in hand at this point. And probably if I had thought about it, I could have used Crypt, Needled, and blind named Ugin or Karn. Did he play a land? Activates that. No. So I don't think he drew for this turn. So probably if I was smart, I would have played Pithing Needle and immediately named Karn Liberated, because there's a chance of him having Karn in hand or Ugin, which would explain the Diabolic Tutor for Soul Ring when you're already at 6 mana. Because that means you could untap and play Ugin, kill Azami by going up instead of having to go down 5. Because down 5 doesn't do anything else on my board. Kill Azami, go up, and really wreck me. I mean, I would untap, Needle whatever one he played, and play Future Sight, get a different draw engine online, but still, very cool gameplay, cool commander, and I wanted to upload it because it was my first game against her, Atraxa, yeah, it's gotta be a female. Look at those nice long legs. First game against her, and I think I enjoyed it. I think I played smart, except for that last turn when I probably should have named Needle on one of the two, but it doesn't really punish me if he goes, because Azami effectively got paid for herself by drawing me 1 card at least. So, trade-offs, but overall I enjoyed this game, and I wanted to talk about Atraxa a little bit, which is the other reason I wanted to upload, because I definitely feel that the stacks list on the competitive EDH subreddit, which I recommend everyone frequents if you are a member of Reddit, and check out the Atraxa build. That if you go to search and just search Atraxa within the CEDH subreddit, you'll find the build. It's a very, very cool looking build, and I'm excited to both build it and get some games against it. I'm going to build it in paper. I don't have the money to sink into MTGO when I already own the cards that I need in paper. So, I hope you enjoy both of these gameplays. I'll see you all in the next one. If I made any misplays that I didn't point out, please let me know in the comments down below. I love getting better, always hearing from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the videos to anyone who you think might like this type of content, or give me any pointers that you think I might appreciate. See you all in the next one. Bye now.